Wulaga, and my education goes to Kiltukara Primary and Junior Secondary School, where I spent 1 to 8th grade 1 to 8. And then on I went to Municipal High School, where I completed grade 12, 9 to 12 that means, and then my university education goes to Bahardar Teachers College from 1989 to 1992, when the rest of work life commences. In 1993, I say commences because this is a white story. So from 1993 to 2002, I worked as an English teacher at high school and an institution instructor, training first cycle teachers. In 2002 to 2004, I went back to Addis Ababa University, Faculty of Education, and pursued master's degree in curriculum and instruction. And then upon completion of my commitment to Nakamte Teachers College for 3 years, I came to Adama University and worked there from 2007 to 2014, and then got a very nice opportunity to be an instructor and researcher in RC University, where I'm working. And I noticed that actually when I was in Adama University, I pursued PhD.
Adama University, this Adama Science and Technology University.
And actually, that time it was Adama University.
Yeah, sure.
I should retrace that because ASTU didn't work for me. So I pursued PhD through University of South Africa from 2009 to 2012, and then on I became a Doctor of Education, International and Comparative Education, Policy Studies. Then on I came to RC University. Actually, so it was not coming, just transferring from Adama to Asala, because the campuses and the staff all over are the same. Yes, the students, of course. So I feel like being in Adama at the same time in Asala, in RC University. So I'm working now. You've already introduced, and there's no need to repeat.
What specific job are you doing here now?
Yeah, in specific, this is an office for academic relevance and quality assurance. This has wings, 3 wings. The first is academic audit and review. The second is programs quality assurance, and the third is student service quality follow-up and enhancement. So these are the 3 wings working under the umbrella of academic relevance and quality assurance. I lead the group as a director.
But we'll be back to quality education. But before that, Dr. Ndalu Fufa is known on media giving analysis on historical events, including wonderful things I remember about Omo history, issues of Fimfine, issues of a wonderful man I always appreciate, Haile Fida. Why? How come that you're, as I see, a man of education and in your fields of study? How come that happened?
Well, it's my inclination, verily to say, I had been a very brilliant student of social science, and besides that, I happened to read about Oromo. Being Oromo to me is quite different because I don't expect anyone else, historian, to come and study about myself and my identity. So I share a lot of the points about Oromo identity with those people who paid sacrifice. And well, I can say I myself lived pain sacrifice on their part, because I happen to listen to the music and read history and lament every time. And the moment I heard about Haile Fida, I was very sorry because his history was both full of pleasure and agony. The pleasure was that he grew successful in spite of all the struggle, but the agony was that he was smashed while thinking good for the nation in the time of the dark. So Haile is really my model, my icon as an African and Oromo. That's why not only Haile, later on I discovered many other people like he was, engineers who were sacrificed, who were massacred in the hands of the savage Turk, like Mtukutar Fasa, who was caught from Egypt and brought here and assassinated. So many people, not only those, even my friends at high school, paid sacrifice. So in me, there are so many people who paid sacrifice for their identity, whose name I cannot speak out and whose identity I cannot express because the story is very touchy. So part of that is highly evidence. That's what I love. Yes, and really, even I detest the question of specialty on history and identity because I am not born a mathematician. I am not born an engineer. I am born an Oromo. This is my identity. This is my blood, and like any other person, without touching and striking others, is my responsibility to discuss. So I don't wait for others. Let others add. Those of specialty, let the philosophers philosophize, let the sociologists speak. I don't blame, but I should have a part also because I do things on what I know and understand to be vital.
You're telling me that your history must be spoken by yourself, not by others, and all should contribute towards making the right history and writing the right history of their own.
Yes, this is the point. You know, nowadays people say, where have you learned history? And why should you speak history when you are an educator, an educationalist? Yes, they are saying the just thing in relation to how we pass university education. But a great many people are forgetting their identity and living only for bread through biology, chemistry, and the likes. They are not different from the beakers in the laboratory, to me. But we are human, and we should not lose that human element. That's why I love history to be in place. We should build things on our identity, our history, our tradition, our morals and moral assets. That's why I love being an Oromo and talking about an Oromo.
Do you have a plan to write a book on Oromo history, or have you written ever?
Well, not writing history. I want to write on the cultural values of the values of indigenous culture to educate young people, and especially to put an asset in place. You know why? Most of the things we have now regarding Gada system and underlying rituals are oral. And our encyclopedia, dying encyclopedia, aged people. So now only a little is found. Even about Haile Fida, I was turning pages and browsing over internet, and many of the things were written by different people of non-Oromo background, mostly foreign writers, may have been his friends, his colleagues during the struggle. And Haile has written about others, how Oromo can be himself. He didn't write his own history. So now it's a question, how Haile was brought up. And only last year or 2 years back, I went to Welaga University and I heard his sister talking. Haile was even serving the family before completing the first cycle primary. He was a very good guardianship to the family, not only the people. And I understood easily. Eventually, I've come to understand that Haile started the journey to stand for his people when he was very young, and got successful through that. Anyway, lost his life. So such people are live models, though they are dead. Even though their grave is not known, the martyrs have no graveyard.
Haile Fida, a geologist, a sociologist, and a polyglot, who speaks 11 languages. Dr. Amara wrote about him that way. And the boy from Arjo rose up all the top of the nation, even including Mengistu Haile Mariam even used to talk to him regarding the situation in the country. That's what I read. What's the Gada system for you?
Well, Gada system is, to me, a self-contained system of Oromo socio-political, economic system and setup of Oromo that has stood even the challenge of time, the test of time, and operation throughout. So Gada system is everything you can say about Oromo and East Africa, the world population. That is quite indigenous, non-harming, and non-dying to me. So the Gada system is not out there, is in us. It's in Africa, and every African to me.
Well, you know why I asked you this question? Boulevard University has already started opening the department of the Gada system. And have you tried or contributed your share in opening that department, in launching that department of the Gada system, or including it in the curriculum of your university? I mean, have you ever tried that, or is there somebody who tried that?
Well, now, we have the Center for Oromo Studies, which was established anew almost six months back. So the point is, we have social science and humanities college that can work at large on that point. In my case, on my part, I can write on how GADA system can be included into the curricula of teacher education and educators, how it can be used as a setup, cultural setup for education.
Materials.
Yes, because this is the right way I can write on education and educating people. I cannot right away go and study how the GADA system came about, what it happened to contribute in the 90s and 70s and whatsoever. There are historians who can write that. It may be deflecting or maybe diverging from my area as well. So I don't like to stand on others' way. But all I can do is now, I've been writing on the place of peace building in Ethiopia and education intentionally, because when I talk about Ethiopia at large, I'm talking about Oromo. Because Oromo has GADA system, I've put a design, especially a spatial model for curriculum where the GADA system as an indigenous asset can be included into the curricula.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, so I put that model. Now what I expect is to take that to the ministry or whichever institution can use that model to build indigenous knowledge. Not only GADA system, there are so many cultural bases that are forgotten. You know, they are underneath. We should clear off and excavate for these indigenous sources to bring a real Ethiopian identity, which is built on the national development and a democratic society, which depends on national consensus. Ethiopia is not yet on that apex, to that peak, no. We left everything to the politicians who bark yes today and no tomorrow, peace today and war tomorrow. So educators should surpass this point and write on events, not on people, not on leaders. And this is what awaits us, and as I'm an Oromo, I'm planning to write on that. How GADA system can be the base for education for Oromo, Ethiopians, and Africans.
Well, what always Professor Asmarum Lagasa says, GADA and indigenous African democracy. Your angle from the academic view is wonderful. Let's talk about education quality. Many people talk and comment that education quality in Ethiopia is in danger. What's your comment?
Well, when we say education is endangered, and quality is dropping, falling, we should know first what quality is. Quality does not lie in books or buildings we erect. Quality lies in changes we bring about in terms of knowledge, attitude, and skills. Well, there are fractions of research works that clearly indicates the falling point of quality. I, on my part, have felt the essence of academic audit across institutions and looked into how 3 institutions happen to use quality results. In most cases, quality is steered, quality is audited, reviews are held, but only for report purpose. It's not because follow-up is not made that quality is not made manifest. Even nobody knows where that defect lies, because the results of researches are used only for reporting purpose. We report to the ministry and keep quiet. So quality can be maintained when we hold research, make reviews, and make it a homely pigeon here, which we can use functionally. This is one. Second, we should have institutions which peculiarly work on education. In Ethiopia, so far as I know, there is no one university that works on teacher education and educational development, educational technology, and research technology around education. Nothing. There was a faculty in Barda, faculty in Kotobe. Now Kotobe itself is renamed Metropolitan. I don't know what it. And Barda University has become a university and forgotten pedagogy. Yes, where I sprung, where I was born and brought up. Very young. I grew up there to be a teacher. I loved to be a teacher forever. You know, only because I learned pedagogical science. That's a big science. The science of human architecture, not building architecture or building engineering. This is human engineering. I don't know how the government has forgotten teacher education and educational technology. So